Reanimated History proudly presents From William the to William the 1,000 years of British monarchs. King William the Conqueror, 1066 to 1087.
William conquered England, reshaped its nobility, built mighty castles, and ordered the Doomsday Book.
King William II, Rufus, 1087 to 1100.
William Rufus expanded royal power, but was known for his fiery temper and sudden mysterious death.
King Henry I, 1100 to 1135.
Henry I strengthened the royal treasury and issued the Charter of Liberties, an early step toward constitutional government.
King Stephen, 1135 to 1154.
Stephen's reign was marked by civil war, known as the Anarchy, a bitter conflict over succession.
King Henry II, 1154 to 1189.
Henry II reformed English law and clashed famously with Archbishop Thomas Becket.
King Richard I, the Lionheart, 1189 to 1199.
Richard the Lionheart became a legendary crusader king, spending little time in England but inspiring myth and song.
King John, 1199 to 1216.
King John's reign ended with the sealing of the Magna Carta, limiting royal power and shaping English law.
King Henry III, 1216 to 1272.
Henry III rebuilt Westminster Abbey and faced political unrest, paving the way for Parliament's growth.
King Edward I, known as Longshanks, 1272 to 1307.
Edward Longshanks expanded the English realm, subdued Wales, and laid claim to Scotland.
King Edward II, 1307 to 1327.
Edward II's reign was troubled by military defeats and internal rebellion, ending in his forced abdication.
King Edward III, 1327 to 1377.
Edward III strengthened England's power, launching the 100 Years' War and fostering the rise of Parliament.
King Richard II, 1377 to 1399.
Richard II ruled as a child, facing rebellion and deposition, marking the end of Plantagenet stability.
King Henry IV, 1399 to 1413.
Henry IV seized the crown through revolt, navigating turbulent rebellions and dynastic tensions.
King Henry V, the hero of Agincourt, 1413 to 1422.
Henry V became a national hero after the stunning victory at Agincourt during the 100 Years' War.
King Henry VI, 1422 to 1461 and 1470 to 1471.
Henry VI, gentle and pious, saw his reign unravel in the Wars of the Roses, leading to England's division.
King Edward IV, 1461 to 1470 and 1471 to 1483.
Edward IV restored Yorkist power, ruling confidently through the heart of the Wars of the Roses.
King Edward V, The Boy in the Tower. April to June 1483.
Edward V, one of the princes in the Tower, vanished mysteriously, his short reign clouded in intrigue.
King Richard III. The Last Plantagenet. 1483 to 1485.
Richard III's brief reign ended at Bosworth Field, his death marking the rise of the Tudors.
King Henry VII. 1485 to 1509.
Henry VII unified the warring houses, founded the Tudor dynasty, and brought England stability.
King Henry VIII. The Tudor Titan. 1509 to 1547.
Henry VIII reshaped England forever. 6 marriages, the break from Rome, and the birth of the Church of England.
King Edward VI. 1547 to 1553.
Edward VI's short reign advanced Protestant reforms, but ended with his early death at just 15.
Lady Jane Grey, the 9 Days Queen. July 1553.
Lady Jane Grey was queen for just 9 days, caught in a political struggle that cost her both the crown and her life.
Queen Mary I. 1553 to 1558.
Mary I, known as Bloody Mary, sought to restore Catholicism, but her reign was marked by persecution and division.
Queen Elizabeth I. The Virgin Queen. 1558 to 1603.
Elizabeth I's golden age saw the defeat of the Spanish Armada, cultural flourishing, and the rise of England as a world power.
King James I. 1603 to 1625.
James I united the crowns of England and Scotland, facing religious tensions and the famous Gunpowder Plot.
King Charles I. 1625 to 1649.
Charles I's struggle with Parliament led to civil war, his execution, and the end of monarchy for a time.
The Interregnum. Oliver Cromwell's Commonwealth. 1649 to 1660.
England's brief experiment without a monarchy, ruled by Oliver Cromwell's Commonwealth from 1649 to 1660.
King Charles II. The Merry Monarch. 1660 to 1685.
Charles II, the Merry Monarch, restored the crown, presided over a lively court, and rebuilt after the Great Fire of London.
King James II. 1685 to 1688.
James II's Catholicism and authoritarian rule sparked the Glorious Revolution, leading to his deposition.
King William III and Queen Mary II. Joint sovereigns. 1689 to 1702.
William and Mary ruled together after the Glorious Revolution, establishing parliamentary supremacy and a constitutional monarchy.
Queen Anne. 1702 to 1714.
Queen Anne oversaw the union of England and Scotland, creating Great Britain, and ended the Stuart dynasty.
King George I. 1714 to 1727.
George I, the first Hanoverian king, ruled distant from his ministers, marking the rise of parliamentary government.
King George II. 1727 to 1760.
George II saw Britain's growing global influence and was the last British monarch to personally lead troops in battle.
King George III. 1760 to 1820.
George III's long reign included victory over Napoleon, but also the loss of the American colonies and his tragic mental decline.
King George IV, 1820 to 1830.
George IV, known for extravagance and style, left a legacy of architectural grandeur, but also political turmoil.
King William IV, the Sailor King, 1830 to 1837.
William IV, the Sailor King, presided over the Reform Act of 1832, expanding Britain's democratic foundations.
Queen Victoria, 1837 to 1901.
Queen Victoria's long reign oversaw a vast empire, industrial transformation, and a new era of global British influence.
King Edward VII, 1901 to 1910.
Edward VII's reign brought a new royal style, marked by diplomacy and the modernizing of Britain's monarchy.
King George V, 1910 to 1936.
George V guided Britain through World War I, reshaping the royal family and solidifying its modern public image.
King Edward VIII, 1936.
Edward VIII abdicated the throne for love, triggering a constitutional crisis and reshaping the monarchy's future.
King George VI, 1936 to 1952.
George VI steadied Britain through World War II, embodying resilience and quiet strength during the nation's darkest hours.
Queen Elizabeth II, 1952 to 2022.
Elizabeth II, Britain's longest reigning monarch, guided her nation through decades of change with steadfast grace.
King Charles III, 2022 to the present.
Charles III ascended to the throne in a modern Britain, carrying forward a legacy shaped by centuries of history.
King William V, in waiting, rounding out 1,000 years of monarchs.
William V will likely ascend the throne to begin a new chapter for the British monarchy, carrying forward 1,000 years of royal tradition into a changing world.
From William I to William V, this has been 1,000 years of British monarchs.
Remember to subscribe for more of history's moments brought to life.